today with our message. Okay, so once again, mental toughness, resolve for every successful entrepreneur. A resolve for every successful entrepreneur. So the very first thing to really kind of understand here with this topic that we've laid out for you today is that this is given freely. The divine gives this freely, and it gives it in an immeasurable quality. Okay, so that means that you're already in victory even before you start. You've already won the race even before they shoot off the gun. Take that in for a bit. Understand that, like, wow, what does it feel like to go into something to know that I'm already winning, that I've already won, right? And I just have to take the steps. As long as I take the steps and I take them one step at a time, and I stay in alignment with love, I stay in alignment with truth, I remember my God consciousness is just as more important than anything else, I can't lose. And that's what it comes down to, okay? So I've laid out 5 different concepts for you as it relates to mental toughness, a resolve for every successful entrepreneur. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with number 1. So these are laid out on the board. You guys watching at home, I know it might come up as backwards, so we're going to write it in for you. Yeah, we're just going to take you through, explain some things about each one, and yeah, give you a good message. So that's the plan there. So let me start with number 1, and all it is recount your past successes. Okay? Recount your past successes. So what does my past success have to do with mental toughness? Easy. Your past success proves how strong you are, right? So because this is a class on business, what are your past business successes, right? So in March we had a class, and we had a few people come up and really talk about the experiences that they had, and you could see the joy on their faces, and you could see instantly their energy begin to change as they talked about those successes that they had. So you know what the beauty of life is? The beauty of life is we only have to recreate the energy in order to have something manifest, right? As the saying goes in Science of the Mind, as in thought, so in manifestation. So thought, which equals feeling, which equals manifestation, all we have to do is find a way to go back and celebrate us, right? How easy is that to think about the wins you've had this year? Now that we're really sort of getting towards the end of the year, what you can do, even though it's been a tough year of Corona, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, look back on this year and say, what are my successes, right? Look back on 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10, 20, whatever it is. I even envision stuff that I experienced in high school that still makes me feel like a success today, but it's not just a success that matters with that. It's what I went through. It's the journey that I took to get to that success that makes me feel mentally tough, mentally strong. You know, and so as you progress in your evolution and your spiritual walk, understand that it's okay to really look back at the things that you may not have seen as favorable, because guess what? The universe loves you so much. Everything that comes in your life is favorable, right? The universe works on 2 concepts: self-actualization, unconditional love, right? So every single thing that's happened in your life is predicated on those 2 concepts. 2, not 4. Predicated on those 2 concepts, right? So in understanding that, I'll give you an example. I was bullied in middle school. I was bullied in grammar school. I was bullied in college, right? And it just got to a point where it was more so like, okay, how do I get past this point? But then once I was able to see things from that God consciousness, that love consciousness we talked about earlier, I was able to see this was for my own good, right? And you know the thing that I remember the most about the bullying? The strength that I exuded to overcome it, right? Got punched in the face a few times. Anybody can throw a punch. It takes a strong-willed person to be able to take one, right? And so that's what I started to focus on. That's what I started to bring to my attention. I said, you know what? I'm tougher than I even imagined. I'm tougher than I ever thought. And I look back at my life, and I look at those successes, and I look at those obstacles that I've had to overcome. And you know what? It builds strength within me, and it will do the same thing in you, right? So you look at your business, look at your failures, right? Look at the times where it didn't work out. Look at the times where you were thinking of quitting, where it could have even brought you down to tears. Think about how tough you were in that moment, right? To say, you know what? Wipe these tears. I'm going to gather myself together, and I'm going to get back in here and continue to go at it moment to moment, a day at a time. That's toughness, right? That's mental toughness. If you've been alive this entire time, this entire year, guess what? You got mental toughness. Some people didn't have the toughness to stick around, right? And look, everything happens for a reason. Not to sound cliche, but it all happens for a reason. But guess what? You stuck around, right? You decided, okay, I'm going to figure out how to be more creative with my business. I'm going to figure out how to make things work with my life. Yeah, you know, there's a pandemic going on, but who cares, right? I am going to succeed because Spirit has equipped me with every single thing I need to succeed. And guess where it's at? It's not out here. It's not out there. It's not up here. It's in here, right? When it's in here, it becomes synced in there, and then you begin to see the manifestation. So really take a minute and think about your success, right? And if you're ready, if you're at that consciousness level, think about your failures too. Because guess what? They're not really failures. There's only lessons and blessings. It's all perspective, right? It's all in how we look at it. Look at those two and allow that to give you strength, and allow that to help you to understand that success is already yours. Fulfillment is already yours. Overcoming so-called quote-unquote failure is a success. It just is, because you overcame it. Progressing through anything, it's a success. Celebrate that, recount that. Take some time to really think about, where was I successful? And you know, if you really want to amp it up with some energy, find some time to close your eyes, right? Envision that, right? See it clearly, see it vividly, and then allow it to just permeate throughout your entire being. And I promise you, the universe takes everything, every single thing, and moves it in a precise, accurate direction to link up to that thing, to link up to that cause. It's always understanding, am I the correct cause? Recounting your successes helps you to be the correct cause. All right? That's number one. Number two. Okay, so I've got a bit of a strong biblical background, but I like taking these scriptures, and I like interpreting it into new thought. I like being able to use it to help people from a place of love, a place free of judgment, and a place that just shows you, once again, the victory's already won. So number two, whatsoever things are true, honest, just, and of a good nature, focus on these things. So I changed them up a bit for you. I changed up the scripture a bit because I wanted to make it my own, right? It says, whatever things are true, whatever things are just, whatever things are of good nature. So this is so simple, it actually blew my mind. So I'm going to show you something from my own personal life that's a bit of a routine, right, that I do. So I'll set my alarm for 5:30 in the morning. I'll wake up. I'll meditate by connecting to the divine within. And then I will sit for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what I got to do. And I will slowly and feelingly read through a statement that resonates with the truth in my life, that puts me in a position to be peaceful, to be easeful, to be happy, to be relaxed, right? It can be something as simple as, today is the greatest day of my life. It doesn't have to be like a long paragraph. It can be something simple. Today is the greatest day of my life. Today is the greatest day of my life. Today is the greatest day of my life. Imagine how that feels. Just by saying that, I'm coming alive. So guess what happens? The universe, you remember the law of attraction and The Secret, the movie said, your wish is my command. It takes that energy and sends it streaming right through the day. As a matter of fact, not even streaming, because everything's happening concurrently. There is no past, present, future of the universe. Everything happens now, right? That's how God works. That's how the divine works, right? But in doing that simple act, guess what happens? I set my day up. More importantly, I set my perspective up to see things that come into alignment with today is the greatest day of my life, right? Now, that's just one area. You can get very specific with this, and I've gotten specific. And so let's say business, right? Today is the most successful, fulfilling day for my business, right? Today is the most successful and fulfilling day for my business. Say it over and over. Spend 10 minutes saying it, but don't rush through it, right? Take your time. Feel it, right? Because this is what's true. This is what's just. This is what's of a good nature. And then before you know it, what happens? And I'm telling you from experience, opportunity shows up, right? Somebody, back payments, things like that, things that were tied up for a while, all of a sudden begin to open and begin to become channels for you to experience that success and that fulfillment that you want. But it starts in the mind first, okay? It starts in the mind first. It's so easy. It's so easy. You know, number 3 kind of ties into this, but I want to touch on it now. There's so much coming from so many different directions as it relates to our lives. There's so much stimuli. So much stimuli. Whether you're on social media, you're watching TV, you're driving down the road, the interstate, there's billboards, there's so much stimulation because the battle is for the attention, right? The battle is for the attention and for the mind, and once it has it, it's a done deal. Your mind's going in that direction, right? So when we think of our minds, we got to think of pure, unbridled power that can be led in any possible direction unless we train it, unless we I don't say train, but more harness the majority of its energy to focus on what we decide and what we desire, right? And so to piggyback on that, to sort of tie in today's message, because I told you all about success, mental toughness, right? Simply saying, I am mentally tough through everything I experience. Let's say you're going through a tough time. The holidays are usually tough for people, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stress happening, whatever it is. Focus your mind on the mental toughness aspect, on being mentally strong no matter what it is you're facing, right? Because life brings us opportunities to face that stuff and overcome it. It gives us everything we need. We just have to tap into it, right? And how do we tap into it? We focus on whatever things are true, whatever things are honest, just, and of a good nature. And I say focus on these things because just like we did with this meditation here in just a bit, just a little while ago, you're excluding every single thing externally out of the way and you're focusing right now, right? So most important thing, if I'm ever going to feed my deeper mind, something that I wanted to remember, I gotta be in a relaxed state. Gotta be in a relaxed, receptive state of being. It may help a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. You say something over and over and you say it enough times, it may help a little bit, but if we really want the deeper mind and the entire being to get something, get relaxed, get focused, bring it in, feel it, and that's when it begins to make the changes, right? But you gotta start early, right? Gotta start early, 5:15, 5:30. You know what? I know it's early, but that is a testament to yourself. When you wake up that early and you say, you know what, I'm doing this for me. You know how far self-love goes with the universe? You're basically saying, I'm loving the God in me when I do something in the realm of self-love, right? Love yourself. Get up. Think of a statement. Even after we're done, think of a statement that resonates with you because everybody's different, but you gotta have something that's gonna permeate your soul, your spirit, right? Go there. Wake up early before anybody's up. And the thing that's so beautiful about waking up before the sunrise, the energy is like this. It's so peaceful. It's almost naturally being receptive, saying, okay, what do you got for me? I promise you, every single time I have prepared myself, prepared my mind to go to a place that of my choosing is worked wonders. And the same happens if I forget or if I wake up late and I miss that, all of a sudden I'm flustered. I'm no longer mentally in control or on point, right? It's just that simple. It's simple stuff that makes a difference, right? Simple stuff. Mental toughness. Set it even before you have to, right? Don't go looking for bad things, but set your mind in a strong place even before you go out into the world, and no doubt in my mind, no doubt in your mind, you will succeed. I promise you that. Number 3, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So once again, that's a scripture, right? But it's so good that you got to take it out of the scripture and you got to give it to everybody. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And there's something I want to add to it, the daily renewing of your mind. I didn't write it up there, but you got to be on point daily. Why? Because we just spoke about how there's so much trying to gain your attention, right? So much in your peripheral vision that wants to be caught, and you got to filter everything out. And it's like, okay, if I ask myself, where do I want my focus to be, right? What do I want to focus on? What do I want to bring about today for myself? It's important for me to understand that, everything else is not running left while my mind's running right. We got to figure out, how do we bring this into alignment, and how do we move in a cooperative manner that's going to help us to succeed, right? Once again, business, Ernest Holmes spoke about activity, right? Joseph Murphy is the same way. He talked about how you can always tell what businesses are successful because there's always activity, right? There's always activity. But guess what? I'm going to piggyback on that, because yes, there needs to be physical activity, but there also has to be mental activity, right? You've got to start, even before you start doing any type of physical action, you've got to go with the mind first, right? Go with the mind. Mental toughness comes in. Let's say you're dealing with difficult clients. You're dealing with difficult people, that you have to coach. I mean, I've professionally trained in fitness for years, and you wind up being more of a therapist sometimes than you are a trainer. So, but mentally you have to be prepared for that, right? If you don't, from experience, I can tell you, it becomes a lot harder. And here's the thing about mental energy. Too much mental energy makes us tired. It makes us lose our vitality. It makes us fall victim to being lazy, to getting into bad habits, to really dropping the ball when it comes to us, right? Because if you ain't got the mental strength to do anything, guess what? It's not going to happen, right? This is a mental world. Everything has a mental equivalent, right? So whatever we're thinking, that's what's going to unfold, right? So if there's physical activity, great. But get that mental activity working, right? The spiritual activity. And the spiritual activity is so simple. You just connect to the divine in you, right? You connect to the spirit in you that's already saying, take it all. It's all yours. You just gotta align with the principle. It's all yours. Take it. It's given freely, right? From there, mental. Go mental. Really be forthright. Really be forthright in putting forth what you choose. I would say desire, but I'm saying choose. Make a decision. Be forthright in what you decide to happen, and never let go of it. Never let go of it. I often carry around index cards or reminders in my phone to help me to understand and to know, okay, where's my mind at, right? Where's my mind at? Because I can tell you, fire truck just passed by, and if I wasn't focused, my mind could totally be drawn to that. Oh, what's going on? But once I'm fixated in a strong place and I know how to mentally focus and concentrate, I'm on point. There's nothing that I need to ever be worried about as it relates to my mind. But it starts by waking up early, or getting up as early as you can, and programming that mind. Let that be the second thing you do, because the first thing you should do is connect to the spirit within you, and then mentally you're just going after it. Go after it. This is something that is just as important as you brushing your teeth, as you having dinner, as you having lunch, as you go and meet, different friends and having relationships. Your mental aspect of your life, your mental toughness, is really very significant when it comes to you being fulfilled, right? There's nothing like a strong mind. There's nothing like it. Do what you got to do to develop it. I promise you, it's going to work out well. All right? Rolling right along. Number 4, where's your abundance in business? Okay, so I have my own ministry, and I do this segment we call Where's My Abundance, right? And so there's a perfect reason why I do this. Because the majority of the time, it's so easy to focus on what's not there, right? So you look at your business. Let's say you're not thriving in a way that you feel like you need to be, right? Let's say you've hit some roadblocks. Let's say you've had some issues, you had some problems. Okay, that's understood. That's a condition, but you can create another condition. Where's my abundance in business? What's working in my business if where's my abundance doesn't work? Well, I'm still going after day, right? I'm still putting in the time. I still have the passion, because the passion is most importantly. That means that God has touched my heart to keep following it, right? I'm making progress. I'm doing little things day in and day out to ensure that I'm going to continue to be on track with the goals that I've set, right? I love it even though I've had some setbacks. So when you ask that question, where's my abundance in business? Guess what? The mind. You remember how we said unbridled power? Like looking to go in a direction, you give it a direction, right? You ask it a question. And you ask it a question, guess what happens? It's gonna follow, it's gonna bring you the answer. It's neutral in a sense of it's not geared towards one way or the other, it's waiting for your lead. Okay? Subconscious mind is waiting for the conscious mind's lead to take it into a place to where it can discover, in our case, being successful as an entrepreneur, being fulfilled, having all the resources and divine good that you need to live your life to the very best. You got a mind that can figure out all that. You just have to operate with it, right? And so you might be wondering, okay, why would I put something in regards to abundance on a segment that deals with mental toughness? Well, because guess what? It's easier to be tough when you understand your true power, right? Abundance is your true nature. It's your true power. It's your God-given gift that never ceases under any circumstance whatsoever. It never lacks. It's not contingent upon conditions. It's not contingent upon what's going outside you. It's contingent upon your thoughts and your perspective and where you decide to align your mind, right? So knowing that you have abundance in general creates a level of strength, of toughness, of mind power that can't be stopped, right? Can't be stopped. It's just anything of a divine nature has what we call an unstoppable strength to it. And it's not like it's a force where it's battling. It just says, okay, this one's not working. Okay, let's find the other path of least resistance. It just guides itself, right? That's true toughness. That's true toughness, right? When you can say, okay, there's a block here, but you know what? There's always infinite options that I can take to go to another direction. And guess what takes you in that direction? The mind. That's mental toughness. That's mental strength. That allows you to succeed when you know your mind holds the key to leading everything to the place that you wanted. All right? You guys are doing great. Doing great. All right. Number 5. All right, this is cool. The divine, the spirit, the God, whatever you want to call it, has given all of us a spirit of love, power, and a sound mind. Love, power, and a sound mind. I love that. Love, power, and a sound mind. It didn't say fear. It didn't say struggle. It didn't say, anxiety or doubt. No. It said love, power. And power means the ability to take action mentally and physically, right? And a sound mind. A sound mind means that your mind is perfect, right? Your mind is perfect, unless you got brain damage, which I know most of you probably don't, or all of you probably don't. Your mind works soundly, right? And when your mind is guided by love and that power, that divine power, opportunities open up to you, right? And it's sometimes it's so simple that it can be confusing because you think, oh, it can't be this simple because I've struggled most of my life. I've struggled for so long. How can it be this simple? But yes, it is this simple when you learn how to channel out, or not channel, but turn down the noise. And then after turning down the noise, you can actually hear and receive what's supposed to be given to you, right? So remember how we talked about starting out in victory? Well, here's the thing. When you understand the universe at its very core, at its very nature, it provides, either at the very beginning of creation or as it goes, it provides every single entity, every single atom, molecule, piece of energy. The universe provides it with everything it not only needs, but everything that's going to help to fulfill its desire. That's just its nature. It's a generous, loving intelligence that stops at nothing to provide every single entity, every single energy. That means you and me, and then 7.7 other billion people, as well as animals and everything else. It stops at nothing. That's its nature, right? So if I know, if I'm starting a business, and this business is coming from my heart, right? And I know the universe is this is the properties of the universe, I'm gonna feel unstoppable, right? My toughness, from a mind perspective, will be as if I cannot fail, because guess what? I can't fail, right? Failure is just another opportunity to learn and to be successful. But if I understand, number 5, if I understand this is how the divine works, this is how the universe works, the universe is basically rooting for me. The universe, Emerson said, God's dice are rigged in our favor, right? So what does that mean? That means they're loaded to help you to succeed, right? The only way that does not happen is if we have weak minds. Our minds are focused on stuff other than that's of, number 2, things that are true, honest, just, and of a good nature, right? That's the only way we fall off track. When you set in all the requirements, or the requisites rather, that the divine has for you, which I've touched on today, if you set that in place, there's no way in this world or any other world that you can't succeed, because you're following principle, okay? You're following principle, right? So here's a perfect example. Perfect example. When you think about what it takes to float in water, that's a principle, right? It doesn't say, oh, you're too fat. Oh, well, you're this old. Oh, well, you're from Ohio. It doesn't say that. If you tap into the principles, you're going to be able to float, regardless of who you are. I personally used to think, well, muscular people couldn't float. And guess what? That's a condition I created for myself, that the universe says, okay, here you go. But once I stopped that and then said, you know what, I'm going to tap in to the principle, I find myself floating along, big muscles and all. Nothing to it whatsoever, right? Because I tapped into the principle, right? So the reason I say that, if I tap into the mental principles that we've talked about today, and there's so many others, but more importantly, I tap into the divine mind and all that it says it has for me, I'm going to float in life, right? I'm going to float in life. I'm not going to sink. I'm not going to drown. These principles, much like the water principle, it's going to keep me afloat. As a matter of fact, it's going to have me ascend even higher, because that's what it does. But see, it's no respecter of persons. It's no, okay, he was good last year so he can float, but now he's kind of dropping the ball so he's going to sink. No. You get into water, you follow the right principle, you float. You have a good time. You get into the flow, right? And that's what it comes down to. When you don't, you sink. Simple as that. Same with life, same with business. The biggest investment you can make into your business, it's yourself. Why? Because here's the thing. When self is in alignment and working, everything else can work. Everything else can not only work, but thrive. If the self is falling apart, guess what? No matter if you're successful now, your business is going to fall apart, right? That's why you have that work-life balance. But business is just life. It's the same thing. It's interchangeable. It's like a two-sided coin, like a quarter with heads and tails. Life and business go hand in hand. You're bringing value to your business by bringing value from yourself, right? That's a principle. And that principle allows you to succeed and be fulfilled. All right? So, we've got a few minutes here, and let's see if anybody in the crowd wants to ask any questions. Yes? Kareem has a question. And then we're going to get to, I got a surprise for you if I get to the time. So,
okay. So I really like the fact that you say about the swimming thing. The comparison between swim and life.
Yes.
So it's pretty much the same thing. Like if you learn the principle of swimming and you learn the principle of life, like the basic principle of life, you can basically float in both situations, right? Okay. So for the principle of swimming, you got the same way you basically learn how to swim. You got a teacher, that's somebody that teach you how to swim. What about life?
So it's kind of like the same concept. So you know how you go for swimming lessons?
Yes.
When you're learning how to swim, and there's somebody who's of a higher consciousness, or not even a higher consciousness, but they have more experience and they know what the principle is, through and through, and they're able to teach you because they have that ability to be able to show you step by step how life works, much like how swimming works, right? So in most cases, when you go to take swimming lessons, who's usually the teacher? The lifeguard, right? Because the lifeguard has been through the classes and they've figured out how to swim when they're the most tired or when they're the most exhausted. But they understand that principle, so that person they have what they need to be able to show you the steps. Same with as it relates to life. Like the whole point of being here is figuring out the principles. And so until you use them and see that they work in your own life, you're not going to know that you're going to float, right? But once you start to implement, and what's great is, so as it relates to life, all it takes is for you to get the first principle. Like you don't have to even get everything right away. You get the first principle right, or you more importantly, the intention. So the intention to float in life, the universe says, okay, this is energy. Let's move him into the right direction. Then all of a sudden, because the intention is there, the person who can teach you properly comes into your life. And then they teach you, and then you learn the principle, and then you begin to float, right? But it's so similar in the sense of, with swimming, you have everything there, right? The lifeguard knows everything how to get you to do that. But even still, it doesn't take you, all right, go in there and float now. It'll hold you, guide you, make sure your body's correct, make sure your butt's not sitting too low. It'll take you through the process. Life does the same thing, right? Life, divine, God, spirit is never going to give you all the marbles at once. It's going to say, get in the water first, or think about going to the pool, okay? And then once it gets to the pool, okay, think about getting in the water. And it's just a step upon step upon step until the principle becomes second nature.
Okay, but how do you know is the right teacher?
Okay.
Because you say you attract basically the teacher.
Right.
How do you know this is the right teacher?
Okay, so it's asking, how do you know it's the right teacher? Easy. This is easy, and I love it, it's easy. You gotta feel it, right? Your intuition, your spirit, right? Your feeling nature is never going to lead you astray. And even if you are confused, you know what you do? You say, you know what, I like what you do, but I need time to think about this. I need time to meditate on it. And you go and you just see what your body does. Because see, your body is an outpicturing of your subconscious mind. So it's always going to react, right? For instance, there's times where I've had my body kind of gyrate after meeting somebody because it's not a good fit. Like I'll have a stressful reaction or something like that. That's as you develop your intuition. But in most cases, it's a subtle feeling that says, this person is right, this person is not in your best interest, right? And you'll feel it, right? And then once you feel it, if you still don't have conviction, ask the divine to show you, right? Ask the divine to reveal to you what, right? What do I need to see in this situation? And it's going to bring you a signal because it's coming every moment of every day. That's what the presence of God does. It provides wisdom, knowledge, all good things, all understanding. It'll help you, but trust how it feels. That's how you know you're going to find the best teacher for you.
That's amazing. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. You're welcome. All right, so we got a few minutes here. So because I will not see you guys for New Year's, I got a bonus for you, okay? My bonus, I wasn't going to write it, but I'm just going to tell you, okay? So we're coming into a new year, and the most important thing with a new year is to prime yourself. And what is priming yourself? Priming yourself is like creating yourself into a spring to get ready to take off in the trajectory, in the direction that's going to serve you and serve your business in the most fulfilling, most successful way possible. Okay, so before I get going, I want to share with you, there's one question that you can use going into this new year that's going to help you to have the best year yet in business and in life. But we're going to focus on business because it's interchangeable, two-sided coin. So here's what it comes down to, okay? So when you're priming yourself for business success in 2021, here's the question you got to ask Spirit, you got to ask your intuition, you got to ask your divine. Who do I need to become in order for this business to succeed? That's simple, right? That one question, you get into your relaxed state of being, just like we did in the beginning, and you ask, who do I need to become in order for this business to be successful? In order for this business to have impact? In order for me to be fulfilled while doing this business? Add any one of those questions or variations to it, but I promise you, when you start asking the right questions, your mind starts giving you the right answers, right? And it may come in steps, right? It can easily come in steps, or you might get it right away, okay? You need to be a more authentic person, period. Okay, let me be more authentic. What's more authentic to me? Going to a dance class, taking a writing class, whatever it is, right? But ask and listen intently, and when you find out who you need to become, you've already solved the biggest issue that stops a lot of people from succeeding, right? Because instead of setting the intention, what do? We just go, oh, success, blah, 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 blah. We're going straight to success. No, who do I need to become? Because if I know what I am is manifested out into the rest of the world, rest of the universe, I know I have to become that thing in consciousness first. So that's why I have to ask, who do I need to become in order for this business to succeed, in order for this business to create impact, in order for this business to flourish mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, physically, whatever it is. Ask that question. And I can tell you, ask it every day. Right? If you want to really dive into it, ask that question every day. Who do I need to become today? Because the universe loves specifics. Who do I need to become today in order for my business to be successful? It's all about putting you on the proper trajectory, right? Putting you on the right path that takes you to what? That takes you to success that's already yours, right? Because once the mind gets it, when the mind has something, when there's clarity, I'm going to leave you with this. When there's clarity and the mind knows what it wants, it just becomes tough. It becomes strong. It becomes unstoppable because there's a goal in mind, right? Spiritual beings having a human experience who move without goals move like this. They're going all different directions, right? If you have a goal, you're moving straight ahead with the goal. You're firing off at the goal. Everybody needs that. And you need it, but you also have it by being able to ask the right questions. So I'll say it to you one more time. Priming 2021 for you. All you got to do is ask, and you can do it once, or you can do it every day. Who do I need to become in order for this business to succeed, in order for this business to be most impactful or most fulfilling? That's all you got to ask yourself. I'm looking forward to hearing the answers too. So it'll be after New Year's, but we're looking forward to it. So this year has been something special, something interesting. But at the same time, you know, if you're able to stand firm and stand strong in what you know to be true and what you know to be true from a divine perspective, if you're able to be mentally tough, if you're able to renew your mind and keep it focused on the things that are only going to help you to grow, there's no doubt in my mind that you will have everything you want. You'll have everything you need. You'll have everything you desire. And Spirit will be the one leading the way to it because you've made up your mind to go there and to get it. And that's all it takes. One day at a time, moment to moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a true pleasure. I'm Reverend Shaun Robert Grant. Signing off, your spirit, your business. We'll see you next month. Happy New Year.